Today we're going to talk about one of the best ways to change your mind around certain subjects, and that's through journaling. It gives you physical proof. One of the reasons we as humans record things is to have tangible proof that it exists. Some of the best authors are able to take us to places that are pure imagination, but for us in that moment it is real. Now there's 6 ways that writing changes your reality. First, it clears your mind for higher level thinking. When you concentrate on something such as writing, it involves so much of your physicality and your mind that you have to so clearly focus on what you're actually doing to where you're able to only fill your brain with those things that are important to you. You get really focused and really intense on a certain subject. Number 2, it helps you to process your emotions. So it's amazing, as you write something, you might have a different goal in mind when you first start writing, but it will absolutely open up new things for you that you didn't even know that you felt about, or ways that you didn't even know you feel. And that will really open it up so that you can process those things right there in that moment. It gives you a record to refer to, so it's something that you can take a look at in the future and see what you've written before so that you can edit it and perhaps move forward, define it a little bit further, but it gives you something to actually work with. Number 4, you gain a sense of achievement. So many times when you're starting a project, you start from this space of where you don't really know how it's going to get done. And journaling can be a great way to at least get started on the path towards something that's important to you. Number 5, it helps you to think big. It's completely between you and your pen and your piece of paper or your computer if you're writing it in the Google Docs or however you're doing it. It's completely up to you about what reality is, about what possibilities are, about what your potential is. You can write anything that you possibly can imagine down, so it allows you to it gives you a bigger space, a bigger playing field, like a sandbox sort of, to actually be able to express your full dreams, your full visions, your full aspirations in whatever way you decide. Number 6, it makes you more committed. Writing down goals, dreams, and aspirations makes you smart, specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and timed. And once you've done those things, it makes it much more defined and something that you can move forward from. Writing down goals makes them more defined and gives us a clearer vision of the end point. If you listen to someone with a very ill-defined goal, you're most likely going to have met somebody who isn't going to feel very successful. Now, neuropsychologists have identified what we call a generation effect. Our minds have a proclivity to create more neuronal connections around material that we've generated than for material we've simply read or witnessed. This means that more areas of our brains are involved when we actually write something down and create something than if we simply just see it or read it. There are a number of different types of journaling that we can do. There's free association journaling, where you just literally write down and allow your mind to just flow freely for a certain period of time. If you do it fairly regularly, this can only take like 5 or 10 minutes a day, but it will produce astonishing results. You have no idea what hidden epiphanies are there in your brain that will come out when you just simply allow your thoughts and your words to just flow onto your paper or onto your computer screen. Dream journals. This is where you actually write a story in full detail as though your dreams are alive and true. You get to express the reality of it in that moment. You actually smell the smells and see the sights and hear the sounds and actually experience whatever it is, whether it's, a house or a car or a job or a relationship or your own body, whatever it is, whatever you might be thinking about or dreaming about, you actually get to experience it for real in that moment, like your own story that you have written. Artistic journals, where you just doodle or draw or color or paint. It's either something specific or you're just using as an exercise to see what kind of thoughts and feelings and perhaps even what comes of it. You might be really surprised about what you have at the end. But it's not so much about what happens at the end of it, it's the process of going through it. Gratitude journals. This is where you just write down everything you've either experienced, you're experiencing, or will experience soon, things that you're grateful for, things that you appreciate, things that you celebrate. Celebrate's the new one that I'm using. Now you want to make sure that you're always speaking of these things in the now time frame, because if you speak of things as being in the future, they're always going to be in the future. You're never going to experience them in the now. They're always going to be something that's going to be off somewhere else and not where you are. So even if it's something that you haven't experienced yet, you can go ahead and be grateful for it now in the moment. You can be grateful that you've thought of it. You can be grateful that it's a goal for you. You can be grateful that it's something that you're seeing coming to you. And you can express it in the now. There's no rules to this whatsoever. But as you express it in the now, it gives you that now time frame, so your brain feels that it's true, experience it as true, and you'd be amazed how that opens up doors for you. One of the most powerful types of journaling is called cathartic letter writing. Now this can be very hard and emotional and make you very kind of distraught in the moment. And it's something you definitely want to plan for. You want to have time before, during, and after, but it's one of the best ways to really be able to move past the point of pain. And this is where you just pour out any pain or suffering that you're experiencing. You actually write a physical, very personal letter to either the person or the situation that has hurt you, and you talk about what happened and how it affected you from your frame of mind. Don't consider anybody else in this experience. This is all about your experience, what you experienced during the time and how that personally affected you in that moment. This pain is is looking for a way to get out of you, and it's going to come out one way or the other, whether it's through you're expressing it, whether it's through depression, which is simply inwardly turned anger, or whether it's in disease in your body, as your body pays the price for your suffering. That's why so many things happen to people while they go through dis-ease, is because their body is expressing pain that they never expressed, so they express it for them. Now, you don't have to actually send this letter. This is just about you giving your pain the ability to vent itself out so that you can look at it and heal from it. I have cathartic letters that I've written that are in my Google Docs that are still there, and I don't read them anymore, but I know that they're there. I know that I gave myself that allowance to feel it in that moment and to really express how it affected me. And it's amazing how those moments I have gotten over that so quickly, just because I allowed that pain part in me to actually be able to fully express itself with no judgment and no recriminations, and just being able to, just giving it that space. Now, another great one is a goal or a planning journal. This is where you actually write down your actual goals and the steps you're going to take to achieve these. Now, sometimes you don't know exactly how to accomplish something, and that's okay. Writing down what you do know starts that progress. And when you ask your brain a question, it's going to go to work to seek an answer for you. Before you know it, you're going to start getting hints on how things can get done, or at least what, in a broad sense, needs to be done. Because sometimes you're not even at that space of really even needing what you need to have happen to accomplish a particular goal. So a lot of times with your planning journals, it might start out really kind of small, and then you kind of flesh it out as you go along, and it gets bigger and bigger and more defined and broader and more detailed. And that's exactly a perfect way for that to happen. Realize that this is a work in progress. And then before you know it, but when you have these actual actionable steps, then it makes things really, really easy. I mean, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How do you take a 1,000-mile journey? One step at a time, unless you're driving, of course. But anyway, it's by doing that one step at a time, but you have to know what those steps are. So you start where you are and you get there, kind of define it, kind of think of it as sort of like scoping in with a microscope or maybe a telescope, or a pair of binoculars, being able to, get closer and closer and closer to the identity of your path and what that actually looks for. So journaling is an amazing way for you to be able to move past things, for you to be able to bring your goals and your aspirations into your life. It's a way for you to connect spiritually. I also will write down I am statements to myself of how I feel like I am in my spiritual connection, or I am in my connection with other people, or I'm in my connection with myself. So there's a number of different ways that you can journal, and you can use this process because we have amazing brains, we have amazing hands and coordination that causes us to fire all types of neuronal activity in order to make the process of actually writing. And generally speaking, if you physically write it, you're going to actually be firing more neuronal activities than you are if you're typing it. But either one works, but writing it does tend to have a few more neuronal connections than simply typing something out. So I hope this has helped you to actually have a physical way of being able to express yourself and to get your goals and to achieve the things that you want to. I'm going to be down below, I'm going to be giving some links to some different journaling techniques that I have, perhaps some different courses, and maybe a freebie or two that shows you how you can best journal. I've actually written some journaling books myself. But what's really important with journaling to you is that you do it in whatever way inspires you. I'm constantly on the look for interesting journals. I have journals that are gold and sparkly, and I have journals that are, leather bound, that look very, presidential. And then I have all types of different pens that I use and things of that nature that will really inspire me, make me feel like what I'm doing is important and interesting and really catches my attention. And that's what's important for you, is to find things that catch your attention, that keep you inspired, that keep you motivated to actually write down what your dreams, aspirations, goals, and these other different types of things are in these different types of journals. And then it's interesting, if you keep these and read them over time, you're going to find out how you've really progressed, and you might find it really amazing where you were and where you are today. So I hope that helps, and love, peace, and release. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope it did something for you. My main goal is for it to brought you empowerment and acceptance, true acceptance of yourself and authenticity for yourself. We're always discovering who we truly are and opening up another layer of that. So that is my goal, is for you to become more authentically yourself, discover it for you, and then expose it to the world, and for you to be fully empowered in that authenticity so that you can be truly present in the now and be truly effective in this world to bring it to love, peace, joy, fulfillment, health, abundance, all those amazing things that I truly believe that God has for us. If you have any comments or anything, I hope that you will let me know below. I hope you subscribe to my channel, and I hope you'll let me know if you have any questions of any kind. You'll see some ways to actually contact me down below, or just leave a comment. I would love to get back with you. I have some programs and other things that are going to be available, and you'll be able to see that in my contact below. So let me know how I can be of best assistance, because that's really what I want to be here. I want to be an open channel to help others to come to the authenticity and to the empowerment that I have found without going through all the pain and suffering and ugliness and years of time. Let's do this quickly. Love, peace, release. Peekasabun. An amazing day.